Chapter 3:14. In the main mountain hall, the main seat was empty. The left side of the hall was occupied by Cloud Dreamer and Luo Xinglia, while the right side was occupied by the fireman and the gold spearman. The rest of the people were outside. The fireman took a sip of the tea slowly and exchanged a look with the gold spearman. He said slowly, "Don't say that I did not take care of your Sky Cloud Martial School. This time I came all the way here to show you enough respect. Unfortunately, some people do not know what is good for them." Cloud Dreamer frowned, waiting for the fireman to continue. Putting down the teacup, the fireman said, "Our intelligence team from the Purple Sun Martial School has found the nest of the corpse man." "What? The nest of the corpse man?" Cloud Dreamer's expression changed. The corpse man was one of the 108 ghost warriors from the 9 Ghosts cult. He was very famous for killing people. It would not be wrong to call him the Old Monster. Countless powerful warriors from the top 5 martial institutions of the Windy Nation had died in his hands, including a couple of astral-reaching realm warriors. So what? After all these years, the corpse man's power should have recovered to its peak. Plus, with his special power, even all of the astral-reaching realm warriors in the Windy Nation combined would not be his opponent. Although the corpse man's battling power was the lowest among the 108 ghost warriors, he had the power to create zombies. With 3 to 4 rank 7 zombies attacking together, even astral-reaching realm warriors who were more powerful than him would not be able to handle it, and would be killed easily. His name was very famous, and people called him the corpse man. Since I am here, of course, I have the confidence to kill this old monster. The fireman looked like he was going to win as he continued. Back in the days when I was traveling, I met 4 friends who had the same goal. Right now, 2 of them are here. One is the Gold Spear Man and the other is the Mountain Man. Unfortunately, the Lake Man and the Deadwood Man could not come. Otherwise, with them here, killing the Corpse Man would be as easy as pie. Cloud Dreamer glanced at the Gold Spear Man. He could naturally tell that the latter was the same as the Fireman, also a mid-astral reaching realm warrior. According to the rumors among the 5, the Deadwood Man was the most powerful one, being a late astral reaching realm warrior. He knew an ancient martial art called the Deadwood Palm Spell. Judging purely on battling power, he might not lose to the Ghost Man. Although the Lake Man was not as powerful, he was still a peak-level mid-astral reaching realm warrior. However, no one would dare to underestimate the Ghost Man's ace attack. The rank 7 zombie warrior. "How did you know about the nest of the corpse man?" Cloud Dreamer stared at the fireman without blinking. It was not that he did not trust him, but it was because the Sky Cloud Martial School had been set up way too badly back then. His brother disciple Wu Yunzi had died because of that. He did not have any proof, but he was sure that the Purple Sun Martial School had something to do with it. The fireman sneered. "It is up to you whether you want to believe it or not. If the 9 Evil cult wants to grow stronger again, they will need a lot of resources. The top 5 martial institutions control more than 80% of the resources in the Windy Nation, and there are no other powerful martial institutions around. In their eyes, we are just a piece of meat without any defense." Cloud Dreamer's expression changed a couple of times. The fireman was right. If the 9 Evil cult wanted to make a comeback, they would need a lot of resources. But they were hiding in the dark and could not take all of the resources in public. Once they showed up, they would be attacked by all of the powerful parties in the South Rudra region. Therefore, they could only do it secretly, not daring to show their faces. Although they could get a lot of resources from some lone warriors, those resources would not be enough to support them for a long time. The resources in the Windy Nation seemed to be nothing special, but it was still a nation after all. The resources of a nation would be more than enough to support the development of the Ghost Corpse Mountain. Plus, it would not be that dangerous. He believed that there would also be other small nations with the 9 evil cult's remaining members, so the Windy Nation would not be the only one. If they did not attack first, when the Corpse Man decided to attack, one martial institution would not be able to handle the invasion of the Ghost Corpse Mountain. The problem was that the fireman's words could not be trusted completely. First of all, he was the first one to know about the location of the Corpse Man's nest, which was already suspicious. He was not like his brother disciple Wu Yunzi, who had been able to stay in the Sky Cloud Martial School for so many years and watch the development of the Sky Cloud Martial School. Then how do you think we should deal with it? The corpse man is not easy to deal with. Being able to survive that big battle years ago, it is already enough to prove how powerful he is. Cloud Dreamer did not know if he should accept it or not. If he accepted it, he might be ambushed by the fireman. He did not believe that there was nothing wrong with it. If he did not accept it, then the corpse man would indeed be a big problem. Who knew when he would decide to attack the Sky Cloud Martial School first? Although the Sky Cloud Martial School had martial geniuses like Yi-chan, who was able to kill the Sky Demon Snake with only half-step Shunyuan, the corpse man was a late astral-reaching realm warrior. He was a cunning demon. Added with all the rank 7 martial zombies, his overall power was only above Jin Huang's. No one in the Windy Nation would be able to fight against him. Without a choice, the Cloud Dreamer threw the topic back to the fireman. The fireman nodded, indeed. The corpse man is indeed a troublesome existence. Therefore, I had immediately informed all the martial institutions and asked everyone to join forces. We will kill the Ghost Corpse Mountain and the corpse man as fast as lightning, so that he would not have the time to react. You mean to combine all the astral-reaching realm warriors in the Windy Nation? Cloud Dreamer understood what the fireman was trying to say. Only astral-reaching realm warriors would be able to kill them at such a fast speed. Warriors below the astral-reaching realm would be slowed down a lot. The fireman stared at the Cloud Dreamer. What do you think? The Cloud Dreamer thought for a while, then said, how about this? Wait until everyone is here, then we will discuss. Sure. 3 days later, I will see you on the Green Beauty Mountain. By then, all the astral-reaching realm warriors from the top 5 martial institutions will be there. The Cloud Dreamer's answer was within the fireman's expectation. He then said, this time all the top 3 astral-reaching realm warriors from the Purple Sun Martial School will be there. You will not be the only one from the Sky Cloud Martial School, right? Of course not. If it is confirmed, there will be 2 astral-reaching realm warriors from the Sky Cloud Martial School. Oh? Which 2? The fireman squeezed his eyes. Although he did not think that Yi-chan would be able to reach the astral-reaching realm in a short period of time, but it was better to be safe than sorry. If Yi-chan really did reach the astral-reaching realm, then some of the details would have to be changed. He just hoped that things would not be as bad as he thought. Me and the Thunder Freer. The Thunder Freer was not a secret in the Sky Cloud Martial School anymore, so the Cloud Dreamer was not afraid to say it out. I heard that Yi-chan has not reached the astral-reaching realm yet, but he already has the power to fight against astral-reaching realm warriors. Why don't we bring him along as well? This time, killing the corpse man would be a great opportunity. Hearing him, the fireman let out a breath. Judging from his expression, Yi-chan should not have reached the astral-reaching realm yet. A smile appeared on his face as he said. The Cloud Dreamer's face sank. You don't have to worry about that. Huh. He has the power to fight against an astral-reaching realm warrior before reaching the astral-reaching realm? It is most likely just a rumor. I, the Gold Spearman, do not believe it. Even if we bring him along, he would only be a burden. The Gold Spearman said with a disdainful expression. The fireman took a sip of tea casually, seeming to want to hear how the Cloud Dreamer would respond. The Cloud Dreamer did not change his expression and said, you can try if you have the chance. If you two do not have anything else to say, you can leave now. Since the owner has asked us to leave, then we should not stay. Brother Gold, let's go back first. The fireman did not plan to stay any longer. The Gold Spearman stood up with the fireman. He glanced at Su Jing, who was standing outside the palace. He suddenly opened his mouth and said to the Cloud Dreamer, I do not have a wife yet. I think that master from your Sky Cloud Martial School is not bad. She is qualified to be my wife. I wonder if I, the Gold Spearman, would have the honor? Both the Cloud Dreamer and Luo Xinglia did not look good. This Gold Spearman was way too arrogant. He really thought that he was invincible. Plus, Su Jing and Yi-chan had a close relationship. Whoever dared to touch her would probably be killed by Yi-chan. Don't even think about it. The Cloud Dreamer did not look happy at all. The Gold Spearman had a creepy smile on his face. I suggest you guys think about it. I am not like the fireman, who is kind. The Cloud Dreamer yelled, don't push it too far. The Sky Cloud Martial School is not a place for you to do whatever you want. Brother Gold, the road to happiness is strewn with setbacks. Why do you have to rush it? What is yours will be yours eventually. The fireman did not expect the gold spearman to be this eager and say this in front of everyone. He could only try to comfort him, telling him to take it slow. The road to happiness is strewn with setbacks. Not bad. I, the gold spearman, am definitely going to have this woman. The gold spearman laughed and walked out of the palace with the fireman, who allowed you to leave. Right then the crowd split apart and someone walked over. It was none other than Yi Chun. Yi Chun was wearing a blue robe with a long sword on his waist. He stood 10 steps in front of the two quietly. His eyes landed on the gold spearman and the fireman. The fireman glanced at Yi Chun and noticed that he was still at the Zhenyuan refining stage. A strong killing intent flashed through his mind as he said with a smile on his face, "Not bad. You have already reached the Zhenyuan refining stage at such a young age. You are not that far away from the astral reaching realm. However, you are not that talented. Before a martial genius grows up, you should be more patient. Do not ruin your own life. So you are Yi Chun? You are nothing special. What? Do you think you can stop us? I will give you a chance. Slap yourself 4 times. Otherwise, I will teach you a lesson today." The gold spearman did not care about Yi Chun at all. If it were not for the fireman warning him to be careful of powerful warriors helping him, he would not have talked much with him. He would have just killed him directly. Things are different now. The Windy Nation is no longer a place where you can call the shots. If you had come here and left just like that, I would have let it go. Unfortunately, you think too highly of yourselves. As long as I, Yi Chun, am here, there is no place for you to mess around. In Yi Chun's plan, the Purple Sun Martial School was the place he had to go. Although the assassination before did not really hurt him, it did not mean that he did not care about it. Seeing the situation, Cloud Dreamer wanted to say something, but he swallowed it back down. He knew Yi Chun's personality very well. Since he had stood out, there was no need for him to go back. Plus, these two were indeed too arrogant. The only thing that worried him was how powerful Yi Chun's battling power was. 2 powerful mid-astral reaching realm warriors would not be a joke, especially this gold spearman who had just appeared out of nowhere. He gave Luo Xinglia a look and took a couple of steps back. He planned to leave the situation to Yi Chun, and the others should not interfere. Haha, I, the gold spearman, have been out there for so many years, and this is the first time I have seen a young warrior talk to me like this. Brat, you are the first. The gold spearman laughed out loud. His whole body shone with a golden light, which was extremely pure, carrying an unbreakable aura. Senior Cloud Dreamer, I will kill this guy. There was no emotion on Yi Chun's face. He had already known about what had happened in the palace. If he had guessed it right, there must have been some kind of conspiracy. Facing a conspiracy, his way of doing things was different from normal people, which was to kill as fast as possible. He would kill as many as he could, since he would have to kill those people from the Purple Sun Martial School sooner or later anyway. As for the mission of killing the corpse man, he would not miss out on it. Chapter 315. Yi Chun, you are too arrogant. The fireman's face suddenly darkened. He had come to the Sky Cloud Martial School, obviously not for the sake of the Sky Cloud Martial School. In his eyes, even if Cloud Dreamer knew that there was a conspiracy, he would not be able to refuse this mission. Since he could not refuse, then his plan was already half a success. Therefore, he did not care what Cloud Dreamer was thinking at all. Bringing the gold spearman was just to suppress the Sky Cloud Martial School, to let them know that in terms of top battling power, the Sky Cloud Martial School could not compete with the Purple Sun Martial School. So what if he was arrogant in the other's territory? No one could do anything to him. However, he had never thought that Yi Chun would come out and ask them to stay, and even kill the gold spearman. How reckless! Did he think that the powerful master behind him would protect him all the time? Geniuses were geniuses because they could grow in adversity. If the powerful master behind him wanted to train a genius, then he would not protect him all the time. Otherwise, there would be no adversity. He was confident that if he killed Yi Chun now, nothing would happen to him. Lai Hua, there is no need to say so much. Since this brat wants to die, then don't blame me for being merciless. Today I will kill this brat and take this woman away. Sky Cloud Martial School, who dares to stop me? Who dares to stop me? The gold spearman's killing intent surged. His face was filled with disdain. Everyone from the Sky Cloud Martial School took a deep breath. Looking at the situation, Yi-chan and the Gold Spearman seemed to be at each other's throats. They hoped that Yi-chan would be able to defeat the Gold Spearman, otherwise, if Yi-chan lost or died, it would be a disaster for the Sky Cloud Martial School. Die! All of a sudden, a golden spear appeared in his hand. His Zhenyuan exploded as he thrust the spear towards Yi-chan, who was 10 steps away. The tip of the spear created a thin vacuum crack in the air. "I'll take your dog life in 3 moves. Clang! As Yi-chen's voice was heard, the Star Scar sword was taken out of its scabbard and pressed against the tip of the golden spear. Rumble! There seemed to be an earthquake. The entire main hall of the main peak and the entire square shook violently. Terrifying shockwaves erupted and radiated in all directions. Cloud Dreamer stood in front of everyone, trying his best to block the shockwave. Whoosh! After blocking the Gold Spearman's attack with one sword attack, Yi-chan suddenly jumped up into the sky. The main mountain of the Sky Cloud Martial School could not withstand the attacks from the two of them. It was not an ideal place to fight. "Where are you going?" Gold Spear Sanrin followed closely behind. The golden spear in his hand pierced out at a speed invisible to the naked eye, bursting out hundreds of spear lights. Each spear light was equivalent to an attack of 60% of his strength. Hundreds of spear lights pierced out at the same time. There was no way to escape, no way to retreat. The first move. Flying into the sky, Yi-chan stopped his body. 80% of his sword intent had been infused into his Star Scar sword, attacking towards the Gold Spearman with his sky-shattering clouds. The moment he swung his sword, the wind blew, the clouds churned, and lightning crackled. It split apart the hundreds of spear lights with an unstoppable force, and under the horrified gaze of the Golden Spear Loose Man, it ferociously attacked. "He actually split apart hundreds of my spear lights." Gold Spear Practitioner was caught unprepared and quickly raised his spear to block. There was a loud bang. In everyone's sight, the Gold Spearman had been blown away by Yi-chen's first sword attack, looking extremely embarrassed. Impossible! He has obviously not reached the astral reaching realm yet. How could his battling power be this powerful? The fireman, who was standing on the ground, was shocked. He was very clear about the Gold Spearman's power, which was definitely not weaker than his. Although he was still in his normal condition without burning his Zhenyuan, he could still fight against an early astral-reaching realm warrior when he was burning his Zhenyuan, not to mention Yi-chan, who had not even reached the astral-reaching realm yet. He had always thought that Yi-chan was just a normal early astral-reaching realm warrior. As for Yi-chan killing the Sky Demon Snake half a year ago, it was not that he did not know about it, but there were too few people who knew about it. Most of them thought that the Sky Demon Snake was just a slightly more powerful rank 7 beast, which misled the fireman. In the sky hundreds of meters away, the Gold Spearman's eyes were red. He was a mid-astral reaching realm warrior, but he had been blown away by Yi-chan, who had not even reached the astral reaching realm yet. It was something that he could not accept. The Zhenyuan inside his body rubbed against each other, and a golden flame appeared. The Gold Spearman, who was covered in fire, yelled, "Today you will die for sure." Gold Snake Break. As he threw out a spear attack, a golden snake-shaped spear light shot out along the spear body, traveling at an extremely fast speed. The horrifying gold mentality had given the snake-shaped spear light the ability to break through anything. The air had been pierced through, and the space cracks kept appearing, providing the snake-shaped spear light with an environment to increase its speed. Whoosh! A blood-red fake Zhenyuan exploded from Yi-chen's body. The fake Zhenyuan was not that much different from the real Zhenyuan. The only difference was that it could not be burned, which increased his battling power by several folds. However, the minor blood demon body separating great art had also increased Yi-chen's battling power to more than 50%. Combined with his 80% sword intent, he was no weaker than the Gold Spearman, who was burning his Zhenyuan. Besides that, he had trained the top-rank Earth Realm martial art, Green Lotus Sword spell, and had trained it to the 13th realm, which was something that the Gold Spearman could not compete with. Green Lotus Sky. Around the Star Scar sword, countless red lotuses formed by sharp chi flow blossomed. The lotuses rose up one after another, following Yi-chen's attack and disappearing into the surreal space. The air had been frozen, and the snake-shaped spear light was getting slower and slower. It was like a poisonous snake going against the current, unable to increase its speed. The gold spearman who was behind it was also trapped in this area, looking shocked. Shoo! Shoo! In the air that was as calm as a lake, countless green lotuses turned into sword chi and shot out, landing on the snake-shaped spear light like a storm. Waiting until the spear light was shattered, the rest of the sword chi attacked towards the gold spearman like a swarm of bees. Ding! 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 The gold spearman had trained the gold element Zhenyuan. In terms of pure defense, it was even more powerful than the earth element Zhenyuan. Although the sword chi was aggressive, it still could not break through his protective Zhenyuan layer. The third movement, Dai. The Green Lotus Sky was the first ace movement of the Green Lotus sword art. Could be separated into two movements. One was the Green Lotus Sky, which was mainly used for restraining, and the other was the Green Lotus accumulation, which was used for killing. The fist-sized Green Lotus shot out, instantly landing on the gold spearman's protective Zhenyuan layer. Pooh! The protective Zhenyuan layer was broken open, and the Green Lotus pierced through the gold spearman's chest, bringing out a straight stream of blood that stretched for dozens of meters. This is impossible. There is no way I will die. The gold spearman did not even know what had happened until he died. He did not know why Yi Chan had the power to kill him, and it was even within 3 movements. He had been traveling in the South Rudra region for so many years, but he had never encountered something like this. Otherwise, he would not have underestimated Yi Chan. Putting his star scar sword back into its scabbard, Yi Chan said lightly, I have said that I will kill you within 3 movements, and I will kill you within 3 movements. No matter how many mid-astral reaching realm warriors there are, it will be the same. He dared to kill the gold spearman and ignore the fireman and the 5 wanderers. Naturally, he had his own power, and it did not come from his power. His real power had not been revealed yet, and there was no need for him to do so in front of everyone. The people on the ground were all shocked. Chapter 316. Yi Chen's power in the Sky Cloud Martial School was known to be extremely powerful, even more powerful than Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer. However, they had never seen Yi Chan kill any mid-astral reaching realm warriors. They did not know how powerful a mid-astral reaching realm warrior could be. Judging from the power that the gold spearman had released, he was definitely a mid-astral reaching realm warrior, which was way beyond what an early astral reaching realm warrior could compete with. However, he still could not last 3 attacks from Yi Chan, and was killed within 3 attacks. Killing an enemy that was 2 realms higher than him. Yi Chan is getting more and more horrifying. Lu Hanshan and Zhu Mei took a deep breath as they looked at each other. Su Jing's titan body finally relaxed. She was planning to join hands with Yi Chan to fight against the gold spearman when he could not handle it anymore. However, it seemed like it would not be necessary anymore. Plus, even if she went up, it would not make any difference. Although the Sky Demon Flower had healed her completely and improved her body, the opponent was a mid-astral reaching realm warrior, who could wound her badly with a flick of his finger. A smile appeared on Cloud Dreamer's face. Then he forced a laugh and turned his head to look at the fireman. The fireman's face was almost twisted as he yelled, Yi Chan, how dare you kill the gold spearman? How dare you? Flashing his body, Yi Chan landed on the main plaza. Right now, piss off. Otherwise, I will kill you as well. Only the fireman knew where the corpseman's base was. Yi Chan knew that he was up to no good, but he could not kill him right away. He planned to play along and see what kind of tricks he had up his sleeves. Before this trick was exposed, killing the fireman would only make things more complicated. The fireman's anger was stuck in his chest, and he could not let it out. His face turned red. Cloud Dreamer was afraid that Yi Chan would really kill the fireman. Although he wanted to kill him as well before the corpseman was taken care of, it would not be appropriate to kill the fireman. Right then, he did not know what he was feeling, so he tried to persuade him, Fire, a wise man knows his limits. You cannot win against Yi Chan. If you stay, you will only get yourself killed. Right now, the corpseman is the most important thing. I will see you on the Blue Mountain in 3 days. Who? After taking a couple of deep breaths, the fireman tried his best to suppress his anger as he said coldly, Good, very good. Yi Chan, I will remember you. Yi Chan looked at the fireman coldly. When his eyes opened and closed, the sharp light was like a sword. Together with his emotionless face, it gave the fireman a terrifying pressure. He was sure that if he kept talking, Yi-chun would kill him immediately, without giving him any chance. Let's go. Waving his hand, the fireman brought the dozens of people from the Purple Sun Martial School, and flew out of the main mountain of the Sky Cloud Martial School like dogs that had lost their homes. Yi-chun, isn't this a bit too cruel? Cloud Dreamer wasn't criticizing Yi-chun for killing indiscriminately. He just felt like the timing was not good. Hiding the sharp light in his eyes, Yi-chun said calmly, "If we have to kill, then we should kill. At least one enemy has been removed, which would reduce the threat. Staying here would only bring harm to our Sky Cloud Martial School." Yi-chun's words were not unreasonable. Cloud Dreamer did not want to talk about this anymore. "Yi-chun, let's go to my Cloud Dreamer mountain. We will discuss the plan." All right. The two of them arrived at the Cloud Dreamer mountain one after another. Thunderfreer walked up to them. "Good job. Let them down a bit. Otherwise, they would think that everything is under their control." Thunderfreer had seen everything that had happened on the main mountain clearly. He was also a person who would kill if he had to, so he thought that Yi-chun was right for him. Cloud Dreamer smiled and told Thunderfreer what had happened. He then said, "The corpseman's base is in the Windy Nation. Whether it is true or not, we cannot ignore it. How do you think we should deal with it?" "I think we should send a few people there." Yi-chun said, "The Sky Cloud Martial School has to have someone guarding it. That is a must. But who will be guarding it?" Thunderfreer thought for a while. "How about we let Yi-chun guard it? He is more powerful than us, so he would be able to take care of it. If even he cannot take care of it, then we would not be able to take care of it either. Let's take a step back and say that if things get really bad, it should not be a problem for us to escape. Of course, this is the worst-case scenario, and the possibility is very low. Meanwhile, Cloud Dreamer and I will join the fight against the Corpseman and face the Fireman's evil plan. I would like to see what kind of tricks he has up his sleeves." Hearing him, Cloud Dreamer was a bit moved. He had thought the same before. Yi-chun shook his head. "Two seniors, you will guard the Sky Cloud Martial School. I will join the fight against the Corpseman, Yi-chun." Cloud Dreamer and Thunderfreer both looked at him. Yi-chun explained, "We have to be careful of the Fireman. But I think his main target is not the Sky Cloud Martial School, but the astral-reaching realm warriors of the Sky Cloud Martial School. Two seniors going would be perfect for him. Although I cannot guarantee that I will be able to shatter their evil plan, but in a dangerous situation, escaping would not be a problem." "But you have not reached the astral-reaching realm after all. Wouldn't it be a bit inappropriate?" Cloud Dreamer was a bit hesitant. He obviously knew about Yi-chun's power, but the Fireman's evil plan would not be that simple. He would not feel comfortable letting Yi-chun take the risk. Thunderfreer nodded. Yi-chun laughed. "Actually, I can reach the astral-reaching realm anytime I want." "What?" The two did not quite understand what Yi-chun meant. With a thought, a crystal-clear and condensed pseudo-Zhen Yuan appeared outside of Yi-chun's body. If observed carefully, one could see that more than 99% of the pseudo-Zhen Yuan had been covered by the broken light. Only a small part of it had not been refined yet. It was a sign that he was about to reach the astral-reaching realm. "I only need one more vibration, and I will reach the astral-reaching realm." Refining Zhen Yuan was not a natural process. Instead, it required the warrior to vibrate his half-step Zhen Yuan to extract the essence and remove the impurities. If the warrior did not do it on his own, then he would be stuck at this stage for a long time. "One more vibration, and I will be able to extract the Zhen Yuan and reach the astral-reaching realm." Thunderfreer gasped. To be honest, he had never heard of a martial genius like Yi-chun before. Not only would he be able to reach the astral-reaching realm within a year, the most important thing was that he was able to control the timing of the breakthrough. The others would have to work so hard to reach the astral-reaching realm, afraid that they would be too late. Yi-chun, on the other hand, did not reach the astral-reaching realm first, but waited for the critical moment to reach the astral-reaching realm. No matter how you looked at it, he was a complete monster, a monster that could scare people. Thunderfreer would not believe that this guy did not make it big. Thunderfreer was shocked and excited at the same time. His blood was boiling. Cloud Dreamer frowned and said, "Yi-chun, it is not that I am doubting your control, but you know this is not something you can be careless about. If you make a mistake, then your life will be in danger. Putting away his fake Shenyuan, Yichan said confidently, Senior, don't worry. I could have reached the astral reaching realm a week ago, but after thinking about it, I have decided to stay at this stage for now. After he had finished his closed-door training, he had heard about the fireman and the 5 wanderers from the Purple Sun Martial School, which had alerted him. Therefore, in the next half a month he could have reached the astral reaching realm, but he had chosen to give it up. Seeing how serious Yichan was, Cloud Dreamer had to believe him. He thought about the ancestors of the Sky Cloud Martial School, and wondered what had happened to the Sky Cloud Martial School to have such a genius like Yichan. Someday, when he becomes the dominator of the true spirit continent, you will all be able to smile in the afterlife. I, Thunderfreer, have to admit that in terms of training speed, you would be able to beat me in the South Rudra region. Thunderfreer finally knew what a top martial genius was, and Yichan was one of them. Xikongshan Yanqihua, they were only top martial geniuses. Senior, you are flattering me. The reason why Yichan was able to reach the astral reaching realm so fast was not only because of the influence of the Dragon Fountain Qi, but also because of the Green Lotus Sword spell. After reaching the 10th realm, each realm would be more powerful than the previous one. Reaching the 13th realm would already be an extreme limit for one's training speed. In fact, even Yichan himself could not imagine the power of the 13th realm. It was 2 different levels compared to the 12th realm. Not only had his battling power increased drastically, he had beaten the Gold Spearman in 3 attacks, and his training speed had also reached an unimaginable speed. In fact, in the South Rudra region, being able to train a top-rank Earth Realm martial art to the 11th realm at the Clasping Yuan realm would already be considered a top martial genius. Reaching the 12th realm would be extremely rare, and there would only be one Xikongshan in a few hundred years. But reaching the 13th realm would only be a monster like Yichan. It should be known that even for astral reaching realm warriors, top-rank Earth Realm martial arts were extremely hard to train. There were not many people who could reach the same realm as Yichan at the late astral reaching realm. As for the 14th realm, one would basically have to reach the Seas of Souls realm to reach it. The 15th realm was said to be breaking through the barrier of Heaven realm martial arts, which even Seas of Souls realm warriors might not be able to reach easily. Therefore, Yichan's achievements in martial arts alone were already equivalent to the top astral reaching realm warriors, which would increase his battling power by quite a bit. As for why he was able to train the Green Lotus Sword spell to the 13th realm, Yichan himself knew it the best. As he had learned more and more martial arts, the comprehensive ability brought by the fusion of his 2 souls had been fully utilized, and his martial talent had improved drastically. Thinking about the time when he was training the mysterious great art, he had spent 1.5 years to reach the 11th realm, which was the highest realm. And the 11th realm of the mysterious great art was only equivalent to the 9th realm of the Green Lotus Sword spell. Sometimes Yichan really wanted to know where his limit was. Thousands of miles away from the Sky Cloud Martial School, the fireman was flying with a group of people from the Purple Sun Martial School. Damn it! The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. Unable to control the anger that was about to burn, the fireman threw out a palm attack on the mountain next to him. Boom! The top half of the mountain had been blown away. The destructive power of a mid-astral reaching realm warrior was obvious. Yichan, just you wait. This time I will kill all of the astral reaching realm warriors in your Sky Cloud Martial School. As for you, don't even think about living. I will kill you first, then the Sky Cloud Martial School, and then the Yi family. I will kill all the men and sell all the women to the brothel. I will make your Sky Cloud Martial School and the Yi family slaves forever, never to be born again. This was the biggest shame of the fireman's life. The Gold Spearman, who was one of the Wild 5 with him, had been killed by Yichan right in front of him, and he had been kicked out of the Sky Cloud Martial School. He had lost all of his face. His whole life's face had been lost just like that. Great Master, let him be arrogant for a while. A little impatience would ruin the big plan. An inner master of the Purple Sun Martial School said bravely. Boom! After killing his opponent with one palm attack, the fireman said with his teeth bared, "Who asked you to teach me a lesson? You are looking for death." Seeing that, the others felt a chill down their spines, not daring to say anything more. Chapter 317. 3 days later, with Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer guarding the Sky Cloud Martial School, Yichun went to the Blue Beauty Mountain alone. The Blue Beauty Mountain was located 3,000 miles north of the Purple Sun Martial School in the Lanha Mountain Range. It was not that tall, but it was very pretty. On top of the Blue Beauty Mountain, the fireman and a middle-aged man in gray robes were sitting on a stone chair next to a stone table, drinking wine. This Yichun has to die for sure. He dares to challenge us, the Wild Five. The middle-aged man was still very angry. He tightened his hand, and the wine glass shattered. The fireman squeezed his eyes. Don't worry, Brother Mountain. He will not live for long. Brother Gold will not die for nothing. The middle-aged man in front of him was indeed one of the Wild Five, the Mountain Man. His name was Yu Mountain, and he was even more powerful than the fireman and the Gold Spear Man. He was the third most powerful warrior among the Wild Five. His earth element Zhen Yuan was extremely rich, and he was very good at attacking. The Mountain Man stayed silent for a while, then suddenly said, "Is he really that powerful? He has not even reached the astral reaching realm yet, but he was still able to kill Gold with 3 attacks. Although Gold is not as powerful as me, if I want to win against him, I would need at least dozens of attacks. Killing him would be even more difficult." The fireman said that day, Brother Gold was more or less careless. He did not even use his most powerful ace attack. But that brat should not be underestimated. He even knows the minor blood demon body separating great art, which can increase his attacking power by more than 50%. The minor blood demon body separating great art is a secret art that burns chi and blood. He must have some rare medicine on him. Pausing for a while, the Mountain Man said again, "After this mission, we need to make a plan to kill him right away. Once he reaches the astral reaching realm, even late astral reaching realm warriors might not be able to stop him. If he escapes, then none of us will have a good life." Yeah. The fireman nodded heavily. Yichun's threat was increasing day by day. Right now, even he was not his opponent. If he waited for Yichun to reach the astral reaching realm, then the success of his plan would be greatly reduced, which was not what he wanted to see. "Haha, Brother Lai Hor, I haven't seen you for many years, but your charm hasn't decreased at all." In the distant sky, 2 human silhouettes swiftly flew over. The leading one was a man who was about 60 years old, with a muscular body and a muscular waist. He was wearing an emerald golden robe. The man beside him was about the same age as him, but looked much thinner and weaker. He had a trace of scholarly aura, which made him look quite similar to the leader of the Emerald Martial Palace, Zhuang Qingxian. The fireman stood up and greeted them with a smile. "Brother Pang, Brother Zhuang, you two have been training in the Emerald Martial Palace for so many years. It is so rare for me to see you." These two were none other than 2 of the top 3 great masters of the Emerald Martial School. The one with a strong body was the number 1 warrior of the Emerald Martial School, Pang Nia, who was at the peak of mid-astral reaching realm, only 1 step away from reaching the late astral reaching realm. The one with a scholarly aura was the father of the leader of the Emerald Martial School, Zhuang Qinghe, who was at the peak of early astral reaching realm. The other one was not here, probably because he had chosen to guard the Emerald Martial School. The 2 landed on the Bishio Mountain. Pang Nia looked at the Mountain Man and said, "Is this the Mountain Man from your 5 Wanderers? Nice to meet you." The Mountain Man did not dare to underestimate Pang Nia. Judging from his powerful chi, he was obviously a half-step late astral reaching realm warrior. It seemed like it was not without reason that the Emerald Martial School was able to dominate the Windy Nation for hundreds of years. He held his fists together and laughed. "I am flattered. I have always heard about how powerful Pang Nia from the Emerald Martial School is. Now that I have seen you in person, you are indeed powerful." "Haha, Brother Fire, you are flattering me." Pang Nia did not care about it and asked, "Have the other martial institutions confirmed yet?" The fireman nodded. "There will be 2 people from the Rudra Martial School, 1 from the North Snow Martial Academy, and 2 from the Sky Cloud Martial School. They are Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer." Speaking of the Sky Cloud Martial School, the killing intent and haze flashed past his eyes, but he hid it very well. It is not strange for the Rudra Martial School to send 2 people, but why would the Sky Cloud Martial School send 2 people as well? Did no one stay behind to guard the school? Pang Nia was a bit surprised. He had witnessed the rise of the Sky Cloud Martial School in the past couple of years, so he had been paying a lot of attention to the school. The fireman said with a low voice, "Brother Pang, I am afraid you do not know yet. The new great master of the Sky Cloud Martial School, Yi-chan, was able to fight against mid-astral reaching realm warriors when he was only at the Zhenyuan refining stage. This time I went to the Sky Cloud Martial School to remind them, but I did not expect that Yi-chan had not liked our Purple Sun Martial School for a long time. Not only did he say something rude, he even took the opportunity to kill my good friend, the Gold Spearman." Hearing him, Pang Nia and Zhuang Qinghe's faces looked a bit gloomy. Yi-chen's rise was way too fast. Before, they did not think that he would be a threat to them, so it was a mistake to ignore him. Pang Nia sneered, "It seems like it is time to teach the Sky Cloud Martial School a lesson. I have let them grow for the past couple of years, and now they really think that the Windy Nation is their territory." Of course, he would not believe everything the fireman had said, but Yi-chen's threat was undeniable. If the Emerald Martial School wanted to keep their dominating position in the Windy Nation, he would not show any mercy. "This place has a nice view. I hope I am not late." While they were talking, a wave of ice-cold chi spread out. A couple of miles away, a white shadow appeared out of nowhere. The white shadow's body art was combined with his blade art, which was unstoppable. Pang Nia turned his body, facing the direction where the white shadow was coming from. He said with a faint smile, "Lin Shui-han, after 10 years of training, your blade art has reached the next level." Shoo! The white shadow landed on the ground. It was a middle-aged man wearing a long white robe. He was in his 50s, and his face was skinny and angular. His palms were huge, but there were no calluses on them. Once he landed on the ground, the ice-cold chi disappeared immediately, and he turned into a normal human being. Impressive. I have underestimated the astral-reaching realm warriors from the Windy Nation. The middle-aged man in white was only at the mid-astral reaching realm, but in the mountain man's eyes, he was no less threatening than Pang Nia. There seemed to be an unstoppable blade chi hidden inside his body, waiting to be unleashed. The middle-aged man in white laughed. "There are only 2 astral-reaching realm warriors in our North Snow Martial Academy. Therefore I had to come here alone. You must not be too busy, right?" "Of course not. As long as you are here." The fireman laughed. Pang Nia smiled lightly. "Brother Lin alone is more than enough to take on 2 people. I wonder how much of your blade intent has reached." Lin Shui-han said, "I am not that talented, only 70%. The blade intent was just like the sword intent. The higher the level, the harder it was to learn. Especially after the entry level of the blade intent, every little bit of improvement would be extremely difficult." Lin Shui-han being able to learn 70% of the blade intent when he was only at the mid-astral reaching realm was already quite impressive. Most of the astral reaching realm blade artists who had learned the blade intent would only be around 50 or 60%. Right now, there were 3 people in the North Snow Martial Academy who had learned the blade intent. One was him, one was the leader of the academy, Shui Warren, and the last one was Lynch. Shui Warren was a late bloomer, so he was currently at 50% of the blade intent. On the other hand, Lynch was catching up. In the 1 year after the Hidden Dragon rank competition, his blade intent had reached 40%, and his overall battling power had reached beyond Shui Warren. I heard that Yi-chan from the Sky Cloud Martial School had revealed 70% of his sword intent during the Hidden Dragon rank competition. It was indeed shocking. Lin Shui-han said. The fireman could not help but say, "He has reached 80% sword intent." Oh, Pang Nia and Lin Shui-han both looked at him. This guy is way more horrifying than you can imagine. If you underestimate him, you will die a horrible death. The fireman took advantage of the fact that everyone did not want to sit and watch the Sky Cloud Martial School develop, so he told them the truth on purpose. This way there would be less obstacles when they carried out their plans in the future. Pang Nia remained silent. No one knew what he was thinking. Lin Shui-han was still calm and at ease. The serious atmosphere did not last long before the people from the South Rudra Martial School arrived. The South Rudra Martial School trained a water martial art. When they pushed their speed to its limit, layers of water-like ripples appeared in the air, which was extremely pleasing to the eyes. In everyone's sight, a man and a woman, who looked to be in their 40s, flew over. "May I know who you are?" The South Rudra Martial School had a special status, and they had a powerful background. For all these years, no one had ever seen the great master of the South Rudra Martial School show up. Therefore, no one knew who they were or where they were from. Peng Ye could not help but ask. The man and the woman landed on the ground. The middle-aged man said, "Xiaoheng, this is my wife Long Yu. Nice to meet you too." No one dared to be rude. They all held their fists together to greet them, including the mountain man. Although he did not really care about the top 4 martial institutions of the Windy Nation, he had heard from the fireman that they could not touch the South Rudra Martial School. If they did, no matter how powerful they were, they would not be able to escape death. After a moment of silence, the mountain man said unhappily, "How come the people from the Sky Cloud Martial School are not here yet? We can't keep waiting for them here, can we?" Xiaoheng said, "What if we wait a little bit longer?" The mountain man made a face. The fireman and Peng Ye's expressions both darkened. Senior Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer had something to do, so they could not come. "I have come on their behalf." Right then a clear voice was heard from the Green Mountain. Everyone looked up. Yi Chun, who was wearing a blue robe, was flying in the air at an extremely fast speed. "It is him." The fireman froze for a second, then he was overjoyed. He did not plan to kill Yi Chun right away. He only planned to kill the 2 astral-reaching realm warriors first. However, he did not expect that Yi Chun would join the mission to kill the corpse man himself. Therefore, the mission to kill Yi Chun could be brought forward. "God is helping me." The fireman and the mountain man looked at each other. A smile that was hard to notice flashed past their faces. It was the first time Peng Ye had seen Yi Chun from the front. He sneered, "You are that Yi Chun, the rare martial genius of the Windy Nation." The blue shadow disappeared, and Yi Chun appeared in front of everyone. "I am not a martial genius. Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer are afraid of death. They asked you to go to the front line. Seems like they do not care about you at all." Peng Ye looked at Yi Chun. Although his chi was powerful, it was not as powerful as the fireman had described. He thought to himself. At the same time, there was a hint of killing intent. He did not believe that the fireman did not have a plan this time. Perhaps, he could take advantage of the fireman's plan and get it over with once and for all. Yi Chun glanced at Peng Ye and the fireman. He was expressionless as he walked up to greet the 2 great masters of the Rudra Martial School. Chapter 318. Peng Ye sneered and said to the fireman, "Brother Fire, since everyone is here, let's discuss the plan to deal with the corpse man." The fireman nodded and said, "Everyone, although there are 8 people from the top 5 martial institutions, the corpse man is not that easy to deal with. His cultivation is at the late astral reaching realm, and we would need at least 3 mid-astral reaching realm warriors to keep him occupied. Plus, there are 2 or 3 rank 7 zombie warriors in his nest. I will not say much about the zombie warriors. Judging from their battling power, they might not be as powerful as all of you here, but their defense is extremely powerful. Without a powerful attack, we might not be able to kill it. Instead, we might be exhausted to death. Besides that, the corpse man also has 4 warriors in white. They seem to have no physical bodies and are extremely creepy. They are all at the early astral reaching realm." Lin Shuihan said, "So, we have just enough people." The great master of the South Rudra Martial School, Xiaoheng, said, "Just enough, which means it is very dangerous. If there is 1 more astral reaching realm warrior on the corpse man's side, the situation will be very unfavorable for us." Xiaoheng's wife Long Yu nodded, "Indeed. Our breakthrough point was the zombie warriors. After killing the zombie, we would then kill the 4 warriors in white, and then we could join hands to kill the corpse man. But the situation might not be as good as we thought. If there is 1 more astral reaching realm warrior on the other side, they might be able to find a breakthrough point from us." "Fire, is this your plan?" Although Peng Ye and the fireman had the same goal, it did not mean that he did not care about his own safety. Who knew what kind of plan the fireman had, and whether or not he would be included in it? The fireman laughed, "Don't worry, everyone. My good friend the lake man will meet with us tomorrow. This way there will be 9 of us. If there is no change on the corpse man's side, it will be easy to kill him. Even if there is a change, we still have enough power to deal with it. If worst comes to worst, The 9 of us can join hands and escape from the corpse man's nest. The Lake Man, one of the Wild 5, I heard that there are 2 people who have come to the Purple Sun Martial School this time. One is the Mountain Man in front of us, and the other one is the Gold Spear Man. Where is he? With him, the chance of winning will be even higher. Lin Shuihan suddenly said. The fireman's face darkened as he glanced at Yi Chen. Yi Chen's expression did not change. I killed him. You killed him? Xiao Heng and his wife as well as Lin Shuihan were quite surprised. Yi Chen's cultivation was only at the purifying Zhenyuan stage, which was still a small distance away from the astral-reaching realm. Meanwhile, the Gold Spear Man's cultivation had already reached the mid-astral reaching realm. There was a huge realm and a small realm difference between the two. Under normal circumstances, Yi Chen would not even be able to hurt the Gold Spear Man's hair. The few of them were shocked. The number 1 martial genius of the South Rudra region was way more powerful than they had imagined. Since he's dead, then that's another matter. Brother Lai Hua, when are we leaving? Lin Shuihan didn't intend to blame Yi Chen and directly skipped over this matter. The fireman said, let's not waste any more time. Let's go today. Things might change if we delay. I have no objections. Me neither. Since that's the case, let's go. As astral-reaching experts, they did not like to talk nonsense. Once they had decided on something, they would immediately carry it out. Above the clouds, the fireman said, the corpse man's nest is right under the ground on the west side of the Devil Grassland. There is a lake there. No wonder we had not found it after all these years. It was hiding under the ground. The Devil Grassland is huge. Without luck, we would not be able to find it. The Green Beauty Mountain was 20,000 miles away from the west side of the Devil Grassland. With the speed of the astral-reaching realm warriors, although they would be able to get there in 4 to 6 hours, it would be extremely dangerous to hunt down the corpse man. Going at full speed would definitely affect their condition. Therefore, everyone only maintained half of their normal speed. On the way, they bumped into the Lake Man, one of the 5 wanderers. The Lake Man looked like he was in his 50s. He was wearing a blue robe, holding a fan in his hand. His temperament was quite similar to Zhuang Qinghe. With his powerful soul power, Yi Chen could see a hint of viciousness flashing through his eyes. It was evil and cruel, which was definitely not as elegant as he looked. After 8 hours, everyone had arrived at the west side of the Devil Grassland. In front of them was an endless stretch of lakes. Some of them were big, some were small. Some were gourd-shaped, some were like water snakes, and some were round. We are here. The fireman was the first to land next to a lake. The great master of the South Rudra Martial School, Xiao Heng, said hesitantly, I wonder where the entrance is? The entrance is right under this lake. The fireman pointed at the lake in front of them. Under the lake? Peng Nie sneered. This corpse man sure knows how to find the right place. He had set the entrance under the lake, covered with mud. It is almost flawless. Let me check out the environment under the lake. The great master of the South Rudra Martial School, Long Yu, was still a bit worried. She pushed her Zhenyuan and waved her palm over the water in front of her. Something shocking happened. A swirl suddenly appeared on the surface of the water. It slowly stabilized and floated in the air, looking like a whirlpool water mirror. Turn! As Long Yu's palm moved, the whirlpool water mirror kept changing its direction. In everyone's eyes, the scenery under the lake could be seen clearly through the mirror. The fireman gasped. The martial art trained by the great master of the South Rudra Martial School was indeed unimaginable. Although he still did not know how powerful it was, judging only by its mysteriousness, there seemed to be no other martial art that could compete with it. It was almost close to the Sea of Souls realm master-level martial artists. The lake man's heart skipped a beat. He had also trained a water-type martial art, and the water-type Zhenyuan inside Long Yu's body made him very excited. If he could make her his mistress, it would be such a great thing. Unfortunately, he could not afford to offend the power behind her, so he would need to think about it further. I will have you sooner or later. The lake man was different from the Gold Spear Man. He liked those middle-aged beauties who were still attractive. Long Yu looked like she was only in her 40s, but because she had trained a water-type martial art, she looked very attractive. Her skin was not any weaker than young girls in their 20s. Added with that special aura of hers, She would be his ideal prey. If there was someone who had seen through the whole situation the best, it would be Yi-chan. From the beginning to the end, he had not said a single word. He had been watching with cold eyes. The lake man's expression was very vague, but unfortunately he could not hide anything from Yi-chan. He could not help but sneer inside. People from the South Rudra Martial School were not idiots, so they must have some backup plans. The leader of the South Rudra Martial School was even more mysterious. Messing with her would only result in death. Alright, I will finish it here once and for all. Yi-chan did not expect to kill the corpse man easily. In fact, he knew that it would not be that easy. But, for him, killing the fireman, the mountain man, and the lake man would not be that hard. If the two great masters from the Emerald Martial School also wanted to do something to him, then he would kill them together. It was not because he was very confident in himself, but because of his own power. Today he was not the same as before. Everything he had learned was top-rank Earthrealm martial arts, top-rank Earthrealm sword art, top-rank Earthrealm movement art, top-rank Earthrealm movement art. Kill Heart Sword and Sky-Shattering Clouds were his ace attacks, and the 80% sword intent was his biggest weapon. It was one of the reasons why he could fight beyond his cultivation. Plus, he could step into the astral reaching realm anytime he wanted. With this kind of power, not to mention peak-level mid-astral reaching realm warriors, even if it was a late astral reaching realm warrior, he would not be afraid. After all, even the inner masters of the rank 6 martial institutions did not have a top-rank Earthrealm martial art. Not to mention the corpseman top-rank Earthrealm martial arts were extremely rare in the South Rudra region. Even all the rank 6 martial institutions would only have a couple of them. He believed that no matter how powerful the 9 Ghost cult was, it would still be impossible for everyone to have one. The 108 Ghost warriors were only equivalent to the core masters of a rank 6 martial institution. All these advantages had made Yi-chan not afraid of the fireman's evil plan. Even if it did not work out with his separating shadow flying art, it would not be a problem for him to leave this place. There is no danger. The water mirror disappeared as Long Yu shook her head. Then let's go down, the fireman suggested. The underwater environment was not a problem for everyone. Even mortal realm warriors could stay underwater for a long time. Not to mention that everyone here was an astral-reaching realm warrior, who had the power to fly in the sky and dive into the ground. Normal natural environment would not be able to stop them at all. Opening up his fake Zhenyuan lair, Yi-chan followed everyone into the water. Piss off! Not long after they entered the water, a huge underwater beast approached them. It was killed by Pang Nia with one palm attack, and its dead body was thrown out of the water. The fireman controlled his excitement and said with his Zhenyuan, "The entrance is over there. Everyone follow me." After he finished talking, he took the lead, using his red protective Zhenyuan layer to sneak in at an extreme speed. He was as fast as a ghost, like a flickering lamp in the water. Soon they found the corpseman's nest. At the bottom of the lake, on the side of a huge rock mountain, there was an entrance that was covered with water plants. As the plants were shattered, the entrance could be seen clearly. It was around 10 meters wide and led straight down. It looked like a tunnel to hell. Under the protection of their Zhenyuan layer, everyone did not care about what was in front of them. If it were not for the fact that they were afraid that the corpseman would hear them, they would have been able to break in with brute force. It would be a piece of cake for them. Who? The fireman was the first to sneak in, followed by the mountain man and the lake man. Let's go in as well. Xiaoheng and Long Yu glanced at Yi-chan. Among everyone here, only Yi-chan was on their side. Yi-chan nodded and smiled. Seniors, I will go in first. Since the Green Lotus sword spell was a martial art trained by sword artists, Yi-chan's fake Zhenyuan was extremely sharp. It was unbelievably fast under the water. When the water in front of him touched his fake Zhenyuan layer, it was like it had been cut in half by the sword qi. It did not pose much of a resistance at all. Pitch black, everywhere was pitch black. There was no light at all. No one knew how deep the entrance to the corpseman's nest was. Everyone could only feel that they were getting further and further away from the lake. The surroundings were strangely quiet, without any noise. Splash! After an unknown amount of time, everyone reappeared on the water surface. However, it was not the original water surface, but the underground water surface that was connected to the lake. Chapter 319. Everyone be careful. Once they got out of the water, Xiao Heng and Long Yu took out their own weapons. What surprised Yi Chan was that both of their weapons were mid-rank great weapons. Xiao Heng had a blade, while Long Yu had a half-moon saw. Although they had suppressed the aura of the mid-rank great weapons, that light pressure was still frightening. The fireman's pupils shrank. With the increase of cultivation, the importance of the great weapons had increased as well. The low-rank great weapons could only increase the attacking power of warriors below the astral reaching realm by 10 to 20%. In the hands of astral reaching realm warriors, it would be great if they did not break. However, the mid-rank great weapons were different. They could increase the attacking power of astral reaching realm warriors by more than 30%, and 40% would be the top mid-rank great weapons. Both of them were mid-astral reaching realm warriors themselves. With the mid-rank great weapons, they would be able to compete with peak-level mid-astral reaching realm warriors. In other words, Xiao Heng and Long Yu's attacking power would not be weaker than anyone among the 8 of them. Mid-rank great weapons. These things are hard to come by. Yi Chan had been to the trading palace in the martial city before, so he naturally knew how precious the mid-rank great weapons were. If he was lucky, he might be able to see 1 or 2 within a month. If he was unlucky, he might not even see one in a year and a half. Every time one appeared, it would be bought by someone immediately, and no one would complain about the high price. The price of a mid-rank great weapon would be at least 50 times more than a low-rank great weapon. Normal astral-reaching realm warriors would not be able to afford it, unless they were powerful astral-reaching realm warriors from rank 6 martial institutions. However, increasing the attacking power by 30 to 40% might not necessarily increase the battling power by 30 to 40%. The battling power is affected by many factors, so it should not be the same. Letting out a breath, Yi Chan took out the Star Scar sword from his storage ring and wore it on his left waist. He had bought this sword from the trading palace in the martial city, and it was definitely one of the top low-rank great weapons. It could increase the attacking power of a clasping Yuan realm warrior by 20%. Although once he reached the astral reaching realm, the Star Scar sword would not have that effect anymore. But Yi Chan had a lot of tricks up his sleeves, so he was not lacking in attacking power. Let's go. The fireman looked away, glanced at Yi Chan and said in a low voice, This time the corpse man is dead for sure. The mountain man sneered. The last 3 words, dead for sure, were spoken in a very low voice. Yi Chen's gaze was indifferent, his eyelids slightly drooping. Patter patter. Light footsteps sounded one after another in the dark environment. Spreading out his soul power with his body as the center, Yi Chan realized that this strange underground world was not small at all. With his current soul power, he could only explore a very small part of it. Even after gathering his soul power into a straight line, he still could not find the edge of the underground world. This underground world was not very humid. On the contrary, it was somewhat dry. If an ordinary person stayed here for a period of time, they would easily suffer from dehydration and other symptoms. So many forks? Peng Ye raised his eyebrows. Mr. Lake waved his fan and said with a smile, There's no rush. Let me check with my secret skill. Oh, Mr. Lake has such a powerful secret skill. Everyone was a bit surprised. Normally, astral-reaching realm warriors would use the same method to check their surroundings, which was to spread out their powerful soul power. They had already checked before and found nothing. The lake man smiled slightly as a watery light spread out from his body. It was extremely thin, and seemed to have connected with the water yuan qi in the air. He did not say a word, as if he was trying to sense something. The water yuan qi in all directions is vibrating slightly. It is transmitting. Yi Chan had mastered a soul power that was even more powerful than his soul power, so he could easily tell what was happening. After a while, the light on the lake man's body disappeared. He pointed towards the east and said, There is a sound in that direction 5 miles away. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go. Under the lead of the lake man, everyone's bodies turned into shadows, disappearing into the forks. There were too many forks in the road. If they followed the forks, they would not know where they would end up. Therefore, they had no choice but to choose between 2 points, where a straight line was the shortest. They used their power to destroy the forks, creating a straight path. It is here. The lake man pushed up his protective Zhenyuan and cut open the mud wall in front of him with his fan. Save me! Save me! The scene in front of them had changed everyone's expression a bit. In the pool filled with pitch-black liquid, a man whose face could not be seen clearly was soaking in it. His shoulder blades were hooked by 2 wrist-thick iron chains, while his hands and feet were fixed in the pool, unable to move at all. A clasping Yuan realm warrior, Lin Shuihan said slowly. Xiao Heng said, if I have guessed it right, the corpse man wants to turn him into a rank 6 zombie warrior, turning him into a mindless killing machine. Let's save him first. Just as long you finish talking, the iron chains made a couple of clinking noises. Without exception, they were all cut in half. She turned around and saw Yi-chan put his sword back into its scabbard. Move! He was thinking about what it would be like if he could turn Yi-chan into a zombie warrior. It would be so fun. At the same time, the mountain man and the lake man had their own thoughts. Lake man, please perform your secret skill again and find out where the corpse man is. Right then Lin Shuihan said. All right. The lake man was about to perform his secret skill when he suddenly frowned. We are surrounded. Surrounded. Everyone's heart skipped a beat. Howl. 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 In the dark environment, a couple of black-colored zombies with a faint silver shine rushed over. Their green eyes had lost their human emotions, leaving only cruelty, creepiness, bloodthirstiness, and cruelty. All the evil things in the world could be seen in those eyes. It is the silver shell zombie, a rank 6 zombie warrior. Long Yu did not have time to think. She waved the half-moon saw in her hand, and a couple of half-moon-shaped blade lights flew out, dismembering the incoming silver shell zombie. Howl! 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 More and more silver shell zombies came over from all directions. With one glance, it was impossible to count them all. There were at least 1,000 of them. How many clasping Yuan realm warriors did this corpse man capture? Right then, even Yi-chan could not help but gasp. Every silver shell zombie used to be a clasping Yuan realm warrior. So 1,000 silver shell zombies meant 1,000 clasping Yuan realm warriors. It was unimaginable. They are all hopeless. Kill! Xiao Heng yelled as he waved his mid-rank great blade in the air. A crashing sound was heard, as a horrifying blade light split the water apart, landing heavily on the place where the silver shell zombies were the most concentrated. Boom! Dozens of silver shell zombies were cut into pieces by that blade light. Snow full bow blade. Lin Shuihan had also started to show his power. He did not push his 70% blade intent, but only waved his snow-white long blade. The blade chi was like a fully drawn arrow, slicing across the air at an extreme speed. Wherever it went, countless dried heads were thrown into the air. Mountain-splitting fist. Peng Nye had a powerful aura as he threw out a punch. All of the approaching silver shell zombies were blown away, their metal-like bodies shattered into pieces. Zhuang Qinghe trained the same martial art as Zhuang Qingxian and Zhuang Fei, which was the mountain and river great art. His movements were extremely powerful, layered on top of each other. Cut! After cutting dozens of silver shell zombies in half with one sword attack, Yi-chan noticed that although the fireman, the mountain man and the lake man were attacking aggressively, they were not that powerful. He sneered. He would like to see what kind of tricks these three were going to play. Paying attention to the three at all times, Yi-chan killed the silver shell corpses that were approaching him casually. Lake man, why is brother Kumu not here yet? It is getting late. In the midst of the chaotic battle, the fireman sent a Zhenyuan message to the lake man. The lake man replied, no hurry. Today, half of them have to stay. Kumumu had lost 2 gold shell zombies a while ago. We can use them as materials for the gold shell zombies. That brat would be a good material as well. Too bad that he had not reached the astral reaching realm yet. Otherwise, he would be able to become a gold shell zombie as well. Chapter 320. The 9 of them were all at the astral reaching realm, or at least as powerful as the astral reaching realm. Even if the fireman, the mountain man and the lake man did not do much, they were still able to clear out the silver shell corpses at a very fast speed. Soon, a huge part of the 1,000 silver shell corpses had been killed, leaving only hundreds of relatively powerful ones. However, although they were powerful, the power gap between them and the others was too huge. It would only take them a couple of breaths' time to kill them, which would not be a problem for them at all. Oh, right at this moment, the roars of the martial zombies came from all directions. The roars were endless, like the roars of mountains and seas, causing the underground world to shake. Not good, this number has already exceeded 10,000. Long Yu's expression changed drastically. They could kill 1,000 silver shell corpses with their power, but 10,000 silver shell corpses would take a long time to kill. Not to mention that the silver shell corpses had a very powerful defense, which was much harder than killing clasping Yuan realm warriors, and would consume a lot more Zhen Yuan. Yichan shook his head. Its aura is a bit weaker than a silver-armored corpse. It should be a bronze-armored corpse. The bronze shell corpses were rank 5 zombies. They were also made by clasping Yuan realm warriors. The difference was that most of the rank 5 zombies were made by early or mid-clasping Yuan realm warriors, while the silver shell corpses were made by mid or late-clasping Yuan realm warriors. Of course, although the bronze shell corpses were not as powerful as the silver shell corpses, the number of corpses was still overwhelming. If they wanted to kill all of them, it would take a lot more time in Zhen Yuan. Plus, the corpse man had not shown up yet, which made the group feel a bit of pressure. There are quite a lot of astral reaching experts. They'll make up for my metal shell corpse. After the bronze-armored corpse's roar was followed by a cold and cunning voice. The voice was hoarse and terrifying, like 2 pieces of steel rubbing against each other, making people feel like vomiting. The corpse man. Needless to guess, the owner of the voice must be one of the 108 ghost warriors of the 9 Ghost cult, the extremely cruel corpse man, who had killed countless people. Rumble. A wall collapsed, and a black-robed man wearing a ghost mask appeared in front of everyone. His body was as thin as firewood, and his fingernails were black and shiny. His withered skin wrinkled together, forming a grayish-black cuticle, like the claws of an eagle. Zung! Burning sparks flew everywhere. It turned out that the corpse man had clashed with Xiao Heng and his wife. His dry and sharp claws had clashed with the mid-rank great weapon, creating sparks. Xiao Heng and his wife were only mid-astral reaching realm warriors after all. There was still a huge gap between them and the infamous corpse man. They only felt their arms go numb before they were blown away. Old ghost, go to hell. Unexpectedly, the lake man rushed towards the ghost man without caring about his own safety. He threw out a palm attack, bringing up a huge wave of power. The corpse man sneered. His pair of claws broke through his opponent's palm attack and fiercely dashed out. Bang! The lake man's protective Zhen Yuan was shattered. Blood spilled out from the corner of his mouth as he was blown backward. His route was the same as Xiao Heng and his wife's. Where are you going? The corpse man followed closely behind. After exchanging a few blows, the 4 of them gradually left the line of sight of Yichan and the others and arrived in another environment. I see. The 2 great masters of the South Rudra Martial School are not their target. Their target is us. Yichan thought for a while and understood a lot. The corpse man targeting Xiao Heng and his wife was not reasonable. He probably wanted them to separate from us to stall them and not kill them. In this way, no one from the South Rudra Martial School would die, and it would not piss off the leader of the South Rudra Martial School, Long Bai. Plus, the fireman and the other 2 probably had something to do with the corpse man. Everyone had died except for them, which meant that they were obviously working with the corpse man. Boom. Amidst the tide of bronze-armored corpses, 2 metal-armored corpses with pitch-black skin and a faint golden glow suddenly emerged. These 2 metal-armored corpses were nimble. As they leaped, they were like tiny bolts of lightning, rapidly appearing in front of Peng Nye and Zhuang Qinghe. At the same time, a white figure shuttled through the group of bronze-armored corpses, aiming for the slightly weaker Zhuang Qinghe, intending to kill him with a single blow. Peng Nye and Zhuang Qinghe did not dare to underestimate the gold shell corpses and the white shadow, so they attacked with all of their power. Lin Shuihan, the great elder of the North Snow Martial Academy, was not idle either. His opponents were 3 white-clothed, long-robed men. These 3 long-robed men seemed to have no physical form. They were floating in the air, and with a flash they would appear in front of Lin Shuihan. It was impossible to defend against them. Soon everyone had been separated. Xiao Heng and his wife were fighting with the corpse man, who was far away from them. Peng Nie and Zhuang Qinghe were fighting with 2 gold shell corpses and 1 man in long robes, while Lin Shuihan was fighting with the 3 men in long robes. All the space outside of the fighting area had been filled up by the bronze shell corpses, making it hard for anyone to move. Among everyone, only Yi Chan, the fireman and the mountain man did not have any opponents. The fireman and the mountain man were obviously on the same side as the corpse man, and so was that lake man who had pretended to help Xiao Heng and his wife. Therefore, only Yi Chan was standing alone in the crowd of bronze shell corpses, looking at them coldly without changing his expression. Judging from the situation, the astral-reaching realm warriors from the Windy Nation were not in a good situation. No, it was not in a good situation. It was a sure kill situation. Although the original plan was good, who knew that the fireman and the other 2 would be working with the corpseman in public, trying to kill everyone except the South Rudra Martial School. Even Yi Chan did not think about this beforehand. He only thought that the corpseman would kill him or the others secretly, and would not do it so openly. Right now, these 2 were not moving at all, and did not seem to want to help the others. Peng Nie yelled angrily, "Fireman, why are you not doing anything yet?" He had more or less guessed what the fireman was thinking, and sounded very angry. The fireman sneered, "Don't worry, I will do it." The plan was going perfectly. Xiao Heng and his wife had been lured away, so they would not be able to hear what was happening here. Then, he would kill the 4 of them, including Yi Chan, and then the mountain man would disappear while he himself was injured. Then, when he returned to the Purple Sun Martial School, no one would suspect him. They would only think that the corpse man was too powerful, and only he, Xiao Heng and his wife had made it back, and they were all injured. Of course, it would be impossible for everyone to not suspect him. But without any evidence, the fireman did not think that there would be any accidents. Even the Cloud Dreamer and the Thunder Freer from the Sky Cloud Martial School would not be able to do anything to him. As for the South Rudra Martial School, it was indeed a huge obstacle. He would have to be more careful in the future in case he got caught. Seeing the fireman and the mountain man coming over, Yi Chan said lightly, "Just you 2? I don't think it is enough." "Oh yeah, what about us?" From a dark corner, 2 human shadows flew over. Judging from their chi, they were definitely peak-level mid-astral reaching realm warriors. With the combination of 4 mid-astral reaching realm warriors with Yi Chen's current power, he would indeed be killed, unless his fake Zhen Yuan lair was able to handle the attacks from the 4 of them. But that would not be possible since the gap between their realms was too huge. These 2 were also the remnants of the 9 evil cult. Their status was not as high as the corpse man's, but they were battle attendants. The fireman laughed, "Yi Chan, you did not expect this day, did you? Originally, the ones who would die would be the Cloud Dreamer and the Thunder Freer. Who asked you to be so arrogant and join this mission? This time you will die for sure. I will ask the Deadwood brother to turn you into a silver shell corpse, and let you suffer a pain worse than death." Yi Chan shook his head. The fake Zhen Yuan inside his body started to vibrate for the last time as he said lightly, "Don't joke around. I happen to have no reason to kill you. Let's do it right here and now." Chapter 321. Once he finished talking, the fake Zhen Yuan inside Yi Chen's body started to vibrate and merge with each other. A crystal bright light was released, and the chi was extremely sharp. At the same time, the fake Zhen Yuan spiral inside his dantian started to expand and shrink. Within a blink of an eye, it had changed dozens of times, and finally expanded to twice its original size. Then it started to shrink at an unimaginable speed, forming an egg-sized blue core. The blue core looked like a crystal but not a crystal, like a liquid but not a liquid. It was somewhere between solid and liquid, with a blue halo on its surface. The halo was like the halo of a star, giving people a mysterious and condensed feeling. But of course it was more about power and shock. Outside the blue core, there were 9 sharp chi flows spinning around it in a regular pattern. Those sharp chi flows were indeed the Green Lotus Sword chi. After reaching the 13th realm of the Green Lotus Sword spell, not only did the number of Green Lotus Sword chi increase to 9, its power had also increased. Each of them was equivalent to one of Yi Chen's ace attacks. If caught unprepared, people who were more powerful than him could be badly wounded, or even killed. Plus, Yi-chan had just reached the 13th realm not long ago. After a while, the Green Lotus Sword chi would be fully nourished, and its power would be even more horrifying. It had the potential to become Yi-chan's most powerful ace attack, which would allow him to kill warriors at the same level as him. Of course, Yi-chan's talent in martial arts was way too powerful. He was afraid that before the Green Lotus Sword chi could become his most powerful ace attack, he would create another powerful ace attack, just like the one sword attack, which had been gradually replaced by other ace attacks. It had also been combined with the lone peak kill to form the most powerful sword attack, which meant that there would be no chance for it to show up. The good thing was that these 9 Green Lotus Sword chi were inside Yi-chan's body, which was a close-range attack. No matter if it was his most powerful ace attack or not, it would still be very useful. The second he reached the astral reaching realm, Yi-chan's aura had increased drastically. It was way more horrifying than any other clasping Yuan realm warrior. Because he had trained the Green Lotus Sword spell, Yi-chan's aura was different from the others. It was extremely sharp, as if there were countless sawteeth cutting through the surreal space. This is the power of an astral reaching realm warrior. It is even more horrifying than I had imagined. No wonder it is so hard for a clasping Yuan realm warrior to win against an astral reaching realm warrior. There are not that many of them in the whole South Rudra region. Closing his eyes slightly, Yi-chan tightened both of his fists. His aura was still increasing, and outside of his fists, one could vaguely see that sharp blue chi flow spinning, increasing its speed and making a buzzing sound. What? He reached the astral reaching realm? The fireman opened his eyes. The stage of the fire. Mountain visitor's face darkened. Kill him now that he has just broken through. Otherwise, once he gets used to using Zhan Yuan, it will be hard to kill him. Yi opened. Yi. He had seen a lot of astral reaching realm warriors burn their Zhan Yuan, so how could he not know how to do it? The soul power that was blessed by the heavens was not something that could be used for nothing. Boom! The Zhan Yuan inside his body rubbed against each other. A wave of blue flame spread out and rushed out of Yi-chen's body. Looking from afar, it looked like a blue human-shaped fire pillar. As the Zhan Yuan burned, Yi-chen's increasing aura suddenly exploded, reaching 2 times of his original power. 2 times of battling power was an ability that only astral reaching realm warriors had. How is this possible? How could it be so easy to burn Zhan Yuan for the first time? When the mountain man burned his Zhan Yuan for the first time, he had only made a small flame. Not to mention doubling his battling power, it had not even increased by 20%. It took him a month to master the technique of burning Zhan Yuan. So what if you have reached the astral reaching realm? So what if you have burned your Zhan Yuan? The 4 of us are more than enough to kill you. Die! That muddy yellow Zhan Yuan was burning fiercely. The mountain man was the first one to jump at Yi-chan. On his way, a huge iron hammer appeared in each of his hands, which he threw out. Piss off! Yi-chan pointed out his right index finger in the air. A beam of blue sword chi shot out, carrying a horrifying sword intent. It landed on the iron hammer of the mountain man chin. The iron hammer was a low-rank great weapon, containing Zhan Yuan. Even if Yi-chen's Green Lotus Sword chi was unbreakable, it still could not leave a scratch on it. However, the attacking power of the sword chi still landed on the iron hammer's Zhan Yuan, which was then transmitted into the body of the mountain man. Sparks flew everywhere. Blood spurted out from the corner of the mountain man's mouth as he was blown away. Let's work together and kill him. The fireman had already started to burn his Zhan Yuan. As a fire element Zhen Yuan cultivator, once he started to burn his Zhan Yuan, his battling power would not only increase by 1-fold, but more than 1-fold. Compared to the other astral reaching realm warriors, the water element Zhen Yuan cultivators would only be able to increase their battling power by 80 to 90%. However, their recovery speed would be much faster, and burning their Zhan Yuan would last longer. Whoosh! Whoosh! The other 2 warriors from the 9 Ghosts cult had also started to burn their Zhan Yuan. There were 3 mid-astral reaching realm warriors, and 2 of them were at the peak level of mid-astral reaching realm. Their combined aura was even more powerful than that of a late astral reaching realm warrior. The dark underground world suddenly brought up waves of tornadoes, which blew away all the bronze shell corpses nearby. Kill! Kill! The three of them stomped on the ground. The second the mountain man backed out, they attacked towards Yi-chan from 3 different directions. The fireman's weapon was a light red great blade, while the other 2 had a long stick and a pair of gloves respectively. With the burning Zhanyuan, the attacking power contained in their weapons was even more powerful. They tore apart the air, creating countless cracks in the vacuum space. If the 3 of you combined your power into one, you might be able to beat me. Unfortunately, if you are separated, you will still be separated. Although it was possible to win with quantity, but quality would always be above quantity. Without quantity reaching a certain level, quality would not be able to win. Chin. The star scar sword on his waist was taken out of its scabbard. The bright sword light brightened up the dark underground world. Soon, countless electric snakes shot out, and the misty clouds started to roll. Along with Yi Chen's sword aura, all of them had been thrown out. Crack! The first one to puke out blood and back out was the fireman. His battling power had increased the most, but his basic power was not as powerful as the other 2. Facing Yi Chen's brutal sword chi, his palm that was holding the light red great blade cracked open. His feet rubbed against the ground as he was blown back. Green Lotus Light. The star scar sword blocked back, blocking out one of the remaining 2's attacks. Yi-chan did not change his posture as he pointed out his right index finger like a ghost. He ignored the distance between him and the other peak-level mid-astral reaching realm warrior, stabbing into his protective Zhanyuan layer. Pooh! His opponent's protective Zhanyuan layer was shattered. The green lotus sword chi circled around his neck once, and a huge head flew into the sky. Damn! Die! The peak-level mid-astral reaching realm warrior who had his attack blocked by Yi-chan saw that his partner had been killed after only one attack. His brutal chi spread out as he threw out another iron fist towards Yi-chen's head. Separate! The separating shadow flying art performed with his Zhanyuan was especially horrifying. Yi-chen's body shook once before disappearing like a wisp of black smoke. Ghost spirit art. His opponent's flying art was not weak either. He took a step back unconsciously, leaving a dreamy ghost shadow where he was standing. There was a flash of sword light on the phantom, and then it dissipated and disappeared. Hammer mountain pressure. The mountain man came back. He flipped his iron hammer, and the burning yellow Zhanyuan turned into a 10-meter-tall mountain shadow, attacking towards Yi-chan. Freeze! Yi-chan did not dare to ignore the mountain man's attack. Before, he was able to kill the rest of the people from the 9 evil cult, who were even more powerful than the mountain man. It was all because of the unexpected green lotus sword chi inside his body. Plus, his basic power was still not as powerful as the rest of them. His sword intent could only increase his attacking power, but not his defense. After throwing out a sword attack, the air within hundreds of meters had been frozen. Pieces of green lotus appeared in the air, absorbing the yuan qi in the air. The yellow mountain shadow started to slow down, giving Yi-chan time to dodge. He flashed a couple of times, and his real body appeared right next to the mountain man. The mountain man was shocked. He put away one of his iron hammers and flipped his left hand, creating layers of thick yellow mud wall shadows in front of him, blocking Yi-chen's way. Break! Yi-chen did not stop. He threw out his star scar sword, and a fist-sized green lotus pierced through the yellow mud wall shadows, landing on the mountain man's protective Zhanyuan layer. The two were exchanging attacks as fast as lightning. Plus, with Yi-chen's separating shadow art, it was hard to tell which one was the real one. By the time the fireman and the other 9 ghost cult realized what was going on, the mountain man had already been blown away with blood puking out of his mouth. He landed in the middle of the group of bronze-armored corpses. Yi-chan would not give up the chance to kill his opponent. He lifted up his left index finger and pinky finger, and 2 beams of green lotus sword chi attacked from the left and right. One was attacking from the front and the other from the side. Chin! Sparks flew everywhere. The mountain man blocked out the first beam of green lotus sword chi, but the second beam of green lotus sword chi bypassed his defense and went right through his skull. Crack! His brain spilled everywhere, and half of the mountain man's head fell off. The cut was smooth and clean with the red and white mixed together. It was a shocking sight. Within a short period of time, 2 of the 4 people from the fireman's group had been killed. Yi Chen's power had shocked them. He had only just reached the astral reaching realm, but he already had such a horrifying power. After all, the 4 of them were all mid-astral reaching realm warriors, and 2 of them were even at the peak level. If the 4 of them combined their power, they would be able to fight against a late astral reaching realm warrior. However, in front of Yi Chen they could not even work together, and were killed one by one. If he were to get a little more powerful, who among the astral reaching realm warriors would be able to fight against him? What did it mean to be powerful? This was it. His body drifted as Yi Chen passed through the group of bronze shell corpses. It was even weirder than those invisible men in robes. Lin Shuihan, who was fighting hard, only saw a blur in front of his eyes, and 2 out of the 3 men in robes had been killed. From the corner of his eyes, Yi Chen's back was getting blurry. "Thank you," Lin Shuihan said to himself. He did not choose to help the great master from the Emerald Martial Palace. Whether they were dead or alive, Yi Chen did not care at all. He went back to his own battle, and Yi Chen locked onto the fireman with his chi. "I have been wanting to visit the Purple Sun Martial School for a long time. I will take you as a gift." "How dare you? You are breaking the balance of the Windy Nation." The fireman was scared, so he tried to sound tough. Chapter 322. Yi Chen sneered. "It is still better than you trying to kill all the astral reaching realm warriors in the Windy Nation. If the news gets out, the Purple Sun Martial School would be ruined in your hands. Explode." As he spoke, Yi Chen slightly twisted his feet on the ground. An explosive-like spinning power went deep into the ground, exploding under the fireman's feet. It was indeed the secret martial art Earth Explosion Sky Shock. Boom! Rocks flew everywhere as the fireman tried to dodge out of the way. "Next year, today will be your death anniversary." Yi Chen's voice seemed to have some kind of magical power as it went into the fireman's ears. Then a bright sword light exploded. Within the sword light, a huge green lotus could be vaguely seen. The fireman pushed his Zhenyuan and yelled crazily, "Brother Deadwood, save me!" Crack! Just as he finished speaking, his protective Zhenyuan had been sliced open by that huge sword light. A bloody line appeared from his forehead to his chin. His huge body had been cut in half all of a sudden. After killing the fireman, Yi Chen looked at the last person. Run! This person knew that Yi Chen was not a match for him, so he did not think about anything else. "Do you think you can run away?" Using his flying art, Yi Chen chased after him. The 2 were both astral-reaching realm warriors, so they could run at an amazing speed. Hundreds of meters only took them a second to cover. Plus, since their Zhenyuan was way too powerful, it had sucked out all the air around them, making them stand in a vacuum. Therefore, the sound they made was very soft, unlike clasping Yuan realm warriors, who would make a sonic boom when they ran at full speed. Die! Like a maggot on a bone, Yi Chen soon shortened the distance between them. He focused his kill heart sword attack, which looked like a shooting star in the sky, flashing once before disappearing. Swoosh! The man's running posture did not change, but his Zhenyuan had been weakened drastically. A huge head shot up into the sky with blood pouring out of it, looking very unwilling. "Right now, I finally have the power to do whatever I want in the South Rudra region. Without Sea of Souls realm warriors, it would not be easy for anyone to kill me." After killing 4 mid-astral reaching realm warriors in a row, Yi Chen felt a sense of pride. Before, although he was extremely talented and had a great comprehensive ability, he always felt like he was in a precarious situation. Therefore, he had to think twice before doing anything and be extremely cautious. Right now, mid-astral reaching realm warriors were nothing in his eyes. Even if he were to encounter a late astral reaching realm warrior, he would still have the power to fight back. Of course, Yi Chen also knew that the reason why he was able to kill mid-astral reaching realm warriors was not only because of his powerful 80% sword intent, but also because of all the top-level martial arts he had trained. He would not be at a disadvantage in terms of martial arts, and his only weakness would be his cultivation. After this, I have to go to the natural moat gorge to learn the Battle King's sword intent, and try to reach the next level. If I can train my sword intent to 90% or even complete, Then I would be able to compete with late astral reaching realm warriors. Then I will try to increase my cultivation. Once I reach the peak level of early astral reaching realm, my battling power would reach a very high level. With mid-astral reaching realm, I would basically be able to do whatever I want in the whole South Rudra region. I would also not have to be afraid of some peak-level late astral reaching realm warriors who had trained powerful martial arts. Yi Chen knew very well that some of the warriors who were stuck at the peak level of late astral reaching realm and could not make it to the Sea of Souls realm would be extremely horrifying. With his current power, he would not be able to fight against them. The good thing was that these people usually did not go out, and there were not many of them, so the chance of running into them was almost negligible. I will take it one step at a time. The natural moat gorge will be my first destination. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chen's mind seemed to have cleared up a lot, and his sword intent was even more powerful. Yi Chen, you and I are both astral-reaching realm warriors from the Windy Nation. Why are you not coming to help us? Without us, you would still die in the hands of the ghost corpse man. Pang Nie's voice was heard. Yi Chen looked over. Pang Nie and Zhuang Qinghe's opponents were two gold shell corpses and a man in a long robe. These two gold shell corpses were even more powerful than what the fireman had described. One of them had a dark gold color on its dark skin, which meant that it was a rank 8 zombie warrior. Its defense was extremely horrifying, and it could almost ignore Pang Nie's attacks. The other gold shell corpse was also at the peak level of rank 7 zombie warrior. Its light gold color seemed to be developing towards the dark gold color. It should have been a rather powerful mid-astral reaching realm warrior when it was alive. These two gold shell corpses had completely suppressed Pang Nie and Zhuang Qinghe. Added with the man in a long robe who did not have a high cultivation, the two were in a dangerous situation. I will start with you two first. Before Yi Chen could reply, a ghost-like figure appeared near Pang Nie and Zhuang Qinghe. It was indeed the ghost corpse man. His whole body was covered with a dark gray protective zhenyuan, and the evil face mask was releasing a horrifying qi. It was only a flash and he was about to kill the two. How dare you? Pang Nie was shocked. He pushed his zhenyuan to its limit, and a huge fire wave shot out of his body. It was extremely powerful. Zhuang Qinghe, who was on the side, knew very well that he would not be able to handle a full power attack from the ghost corpse man, and that he would not be able to survive today. He performed his mountain and river great art, and his zhenyuan attacked towards the ghost corpse man like a huge wave. The ghost corpse man chuckled as he twisted his right hand. With a shoo sound, his right hand went through Pang Nie's fist power and sliced through his left arm. At the same time, he held a golden skull in his left hand and threw it towards Zhuang Qinghe. The three passed by each other. The ghost corpse man was holding an arm in his hand. On the other hand, Pang Nie and Zhuang Qinghe had lost their left arm and life respectively. Facing a full power attack from the ghost corpse man, one was wounded and the other was dead. Losing interest in killing Pang Nie, the ghost corpse man turned his attention to Lin Shuihan, who had just killed the man in long robes. Boom! On his way, the ghost corpse man suddenly lifted up his golden skull, clashing with the incoming sword qi. Kid, you are looking for death. Originally, the ghost corpse man was planning to kill Lin Shuihan first. However, he did not expect that Yi Chen would stop him and attack him with a sharp sword qi. After killing a huge group of bronze shell corpses, Yi Chen stood there quietly. This is the end. He did not care about the two great masters from the Emerald Martial Palace, but the great master from the North Snow Martial Academy could save his life. However, this ghost corpse man was indeed powerful. He could shatter Yi Chen's sword qi in a hurry, which meant that he was way more powerful than the fireman Shu. Shu! Shu! 3 human figures appeared one after another. They were Xiao Heng and his wife and the lake man. All 3 of them had been wounded quite badly. Xiao Heng and his wife were not sure if it was just an illusion, but the ghost corpse man had not used all of his power yet. Of course, since they dared to come to the ghost corpse man's base, they all had their ace cards prepared. Unless it was a critical moment, they would not use them easily. Xiao Heng and his wife could not just sit and watch Pang Nie get killed, so they hurried to help him fight against the 2 gold shell corpses and the man in long robes. As for the lake man, he looked a bit gloomy. He could not see the fireman and the rest of the bronze shell corpses, so he did not know what had happened. Pang Nie, where are the others? Xiao Heng asked. Peng Nie spat out a mouthful of blood. That fireman and the ghost corpse man were in cahoots. There were two other powerful warriors, but they were both dead. Peng Nie glanced at Yi Chen with hatred. Although the ghost corpse man's attacking speed was extremely fast, he did not think that Yi Chen would save him at all. Xiao Heng and his wife were shocked. This Yi Chen was unexpectedly powerful. He had reached the astral reaching realm? Was it an accident or? The ghost corpse man said to the lake man, kill them all. Everything is out of our control now. He was talking about the couple. According to the plan, they did not need to be killed because killing them would cause a lot of trouble. But now it seemed like they had to kill them. Once the fireman and the other three had died, the plan had gone into an unknown direction, and the cause of all of this was Yi Chen. The lake man had a creepy look on his face. He looked at Long Yu with a hint of evil in his eyes. Finally, he did not have to hold it in anymore. He could just run away from the Windy Nation. The battle had started again, but this time there was a slight change. The lake man, who had been helping the couple, had now become the ghost corpse man's helper. He fought with the two gold shell corpses and the man in long robes. Of course, there was also the horrifying amount of bronze shell corpses. Pulling back his attention, the ghost corpse man knew that Yi Chen was the key. Only by killing him would he be able to kill everyone from the Windy Nation. Right now, all he needed to do was to maintain the situation. You are the one who killed the fireman and the rest. Yi Chen did not answer but asked, you must be the leader of the Wild Five. The Deadwood Man, right? I wonder if your original name was the Deadwood Man or the Ghost Corpse Man before the fireman died. He had called him Brother Deadwood. Therefore, Yi Chen knew that the Ghost Corpse Man was the Deadwood Man, and the Wild Five were actually all in the Windy Nation. The only question was whether the fireman was working with the Ghost Corpse Man, or if he had already become part of the Nine Ghosts cult. But none of this mattered anymore. The fireman was already dead, and he no longer existed in this world. Both of them are my names. Too bad, all the enemies who know my name have to die. You are no exception. Die. The gold skull was transferred to his right hand as the ghost corpse man rushed towards Yi Chen at an extreme speed. Sky-shattering clouds. Facing the infamous ghost corpse man, Yi Chen did not back out at all. Instead, he lifted up his sword and faced him head-on. Boom! The gold skull clashed with the Star Scar sword. The dark underground world shook a little bit and a lot of rocks fell down from above. Who was more powerful and who was weaker, it would be easy to tell. The ghost corpse man backed out 3 steps. Yi Chen backed out 10 steps. The gap between their cultivation was too huge. Even though Yi Chen had trained the top-rank Earth Realm martial art, the Green Lotus sword spell, and had 80% sword intent, it was still not enough to make up for the gap. However, being able to handle a full attack from the Ghost Corpse Man was already very impressive, since the Ghost Corpse Man was one of the 108 ghost warriors of the Nine Ghosts cult. Even if he was not famous for his battling power, he should not be underestimated. Normal late astral reaching realm warriors might not even be able to run away from him. I am afraid that you will die here today. The Ghost Corpse Man had made up his mind as he sneered. Yi Chen's expression did not change. There was a bloody light burning inside his body as he said, not necessarily. Oh yeah, then I will see how you are going to fight against me. The gray-black Ghost Corpse Man's Zhenyuan shot up into the sky. The Ghost Corpse Man held the gold skull in his right hand, looking like a demon stepping on a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. I said not necessarily. You were able to rule the Windy Nation before, but today it is not your world anymore. Crack! The ground cracked open as a bloody red chi flow exploded from Yi Chen's body. It combined with his burning Zhenyuan, turning into a greenish-red color all of a sudden. That intense aura spread out in all directions, blowing away all the bronze shell corpses that were surrounding him. You're tuning into the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.